Welcome back to Science Class with Ms. H. Today we're going to look at how to use the Illuminate system. This is our lockdown browser, and this is what we're going to use to do all of our tests. We have pre-tests before we start a unit, and then post-tests, which are our unit assessments at the end of the unit. So you could see it as post-test, you could see it as unit test. Both of them, that means the same thing. It's the unit test for the unit we just finished. The difference between the two, the pre-test is before we've learned anything. We don't expect you to know the information on a pre-test. We want you to go through, answer what you can, and if you don't know the answer, just pick something and move on. Pre-tests should not take you more than 10-15 minutes at the most. Answer it if you know it. If you don't, pick something, move on to the next. Pre-tests can also be done at home on your Chromebook. You have to have a district Chromebook, but you can do a pre-test at home. I will give you the code when I put up the pre-test assignment, and you can access it, put in the code, take the test at home. The unit exam at the end, so that post-test, you will have to take in person at the school, regardless of whether you're an in-person student or a virtual student. If you're virtual, the district requires that you fill out the form to request a time, make an appointment to go into whatever your home school is, so the school that you would be going to if you were in person, and take the test there with an administrator or some other adult that's appointed to watch all of the test takers. You'll be socially distanced, they'll make you wear a mask, you'll need your Chromebook, so wear your mask, bring your Chromebook with you, and you will be safe and away from other people while you take that test in person. If you have concerns about being at school and testing in person, I know some of you guys are home because family members are high risk and you don't want to be around people, or your parents don't want you to be around people. I get it. I don't have any control over it though. So I will tell you now, I'm going to put a list of administrators for each building that are in charge of testing up along with all of the testing information on the resources page. So if you have a concern about testing in person, please, please, please do not ask me to make an exception for it, because I can't. You will need to email your administrator from that list and ask them. You can add my name to it as a carbon copy, but I cannot make that decision. If you ask me about it, the only thing I can do is copy and paste it into another email to your administrator, and it's just going to lengthen the process. So email your administrator, carbon copy me on it so I can see their responses to you. They will make the decision as to what kind of exceptions or accommodations they can make for it. I know that last year, at least in our building, one of the things they did is if somebody was super sensitive and had a family member that was like immunocompromised or something like that, there were a few occasions where our administrator would let you take it in your car, and they would have a para or someone else from the staff sit outside next to your car while you take it. I don't know if they're going to still offer that this year, so please do not tell them Miss H said that you would do that. It depends on the administrator and the availability of staff. If there's no one to do it, there's no one to do it. We're all still working through all of this COVID virtual chaos, so please be flexible and have patience with the staff and the admins and your teachers. We're all just trying to make it work. They may have just one person available to staff the test room and have, 4 or 5 kids spread out in various corners of the test room safely apart from each other, but that means only one person needs to watch those 4 kids. If they have to do it individually in random places, they would need one adult per each student, and we just don't have the staff for that. So if you have concerns, go to the resources page, find out which administrator is for your building, and then email them or have a parent call them to try and make arrangements for accommodations for that. Alright, so when you take the test, you may need a calculator for some of these, probably not for earth science. You'll need a writing utensil and some scratch paper. You'll need your Chromebook for sure. If you're doing a unit test at the end of a unit, you'll need to wear your mask when you come in, and then have a positive mindset for testing. If you've done the work you're supposed to do, and you've done all of the review, you've done all of your homework and your assignments, you're going to be okay on the test. It is really difficult to fail my class if you have done all of your work and at least made an attempt on all of your tests. If you've taken each test and tried, and you've done your work in my class, you're going to pass. Okay, so how does this work? If you've never done Illuminate before, most of you hopefully have if you've been in our district for a while, but in order to access it, you're going to have your Chromebook, and you need to log completely out of it. Do not log into your Chromebook. If you're logged in, you'll have to log out completely. Once you've done that, over in the lower left-hand side of the screen here, I've got a picture of it inserted here. In the lower left-hand side of the screen, you have the Apps button. You won't be able to see this if you're logged in. You have to be logged out. You're going to click on Apps, and when this menu pops up here, you're going to click on Illuminate Lockdown Browser. You will have to have your test code written down on a piece of paper. You will not be able to access any other part of your Chromebook once you get into this lockdown browser. So go into the class, look at the PreTest assignment, write down the test code, and then log out of your browser. Okay? Once you've done that, you're going to put in, you'll get to this screen, you'll put in your student ID number, so that's your lunch number, and then the access code that I gave you that you should have written down. Click Next. Make sure the assessment name is correct. It's going to tell you the name of the test. Please, please, please make sure this matches to the unit that you think you're taking. Last year, I had multiple students who came in to test with administrators in my virtual classes who ended up taking the wrong test. We were on, for example, the astronomy test, and they were answering questions about rocks and minerals. Make sure that that test is the one that you're supposed to be taking. If it's not, tell somebody, because they probably gave you the wrong access code. Make sure your name is correct, that you haven't made a typo, that it says your name on it, and then click Confirm. And then it's going to pop you into the test. Make sure you familiarize yourself with the tools. You have the question, you have your answers down here. There could be multiple choice, fill in the blank, true, false, multiple select. Earth Science, our district loves multiple select questions where you have more than one correct answer. Please make sure that you are not answering incorrectly on those, that you've picked all of the selections that you feel are correct, and that you're leaving off the ones that are incorrect. You get positive points for correct and negative points for incorrect. You'll never go below a value of 0 for a question, but if you have 4 answers and 2 are right, 2 are wrong, and you just select all 4, you're going to get a 0 on it for that question. So pay attention to what the questions are saying. They also really like all of these except questions. So it may say, of the following, which is not true, and you'll pick the one that's not true. It may say, all of the following except which are true. So all of the following except which one are true. There's all kinds of tricky ways that they will say that, so please read the questions carefully and make sure you are answering what the question is actually asking. Up here at the top, you can click this little arrow and it'll have a drop-down list of question numbers, and you can navigate directly to a question. So that's right here. You can click these arrows to move forward or back one question. If you push pause here, it'll pause the test if you need to use the restroom or something. Make sure your administrator knows you're doing this so that they can restart the test for you when you come back. It's best if you just take the test in one setting. So go through, familiarize yourself with the tools, make sure that you are, again, answering the questions as they're being asked of you. Make sure that it has the correct name up here in the upper right corner. Click Begin Test. And then make sure that you're reading questions carefully, double check your answers, remain quiet during testing. Once you finish, close your Chromebook. If you're in person, you will read or work on other assignments. Most of the time we'll have a vocabulary assignment for you to begin working on at the end of a pre-test. If you are virtual, once you're done with your test, go ahead and close your Chromebook. Make sure you've submitted your test. So you've clicked that finish button, and then go let the administrator or the adult that is in charge of the testing room know that you're done. If your ride is waiting on you, you can go ahead and follow the procedures to exit the building and meet your ride. Or if you need to call for a ride, let them know, and they'll get that taken care of for you. Make sure that you take your time and do your best. Again, that is on the PostTests, the unit tests at the end of the unit. After we've covered the information, we do expect you to do your best on it. It's the pre-test that you take at home that you can go through quickly. If you're virtual, this slide isn't really going to affect you because you're going to stay in your time slot and you're going to work through until you finish the exam before you leave. If you're in person and you are not finished at the end of the class period, let your instructor know. If you're in my class, I'll make arrangements for you to stay with me until you finish, as long as I have the room for you. If I don't have room for you, then we'll need to pause your test and have you come in either during my plan or after school to finish. You will need to finish the same day, though. 90% of the time, if you're in person, you're not done by the end of class. I'm able to let you stick around and move to a lab bench or something to make room for you to take the test. In order to check your results for a test, log into your Chromebook, click the ISD Schools Bookmarks button in the upper left corner, choose Illuminate DNA, and then sign in with Google down here, the red button. Once you sign in with Google, you should be able to continue to your portal. And then you'll see your assessments over here, and you'll be able to look at the results here. So you can see how you did. Your results that you see may not match exactly with what's in the grade book. Because of the multiple select, a lot of these tests have 30 questions, but they might be worth like 39 points. I do enter them into the grade book on a curve. So if the highest score is 36 out of 39, then 36 would be that 100% mark. So your score in the grade book might not match your score on Illuminate exactly. It will always be of benefit to you, though. So it should be higher in the grade book. Alright, that is it. That's how you're going to take a test. Remember, pre-test at home if you're virtual. You can also take the pre-test at home if you're an in-person student and you were absent for any reason. Make sure that you get those done because they do look at that information to see student growth.